and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today, also on behalf of the entire Renewable Carbon Initiative. My name is Svenja Dahl from Nova Institute, and I'm here today with Mr. Lars Berger from Neste. Hello.
Hello, Svenja.
Hi. He's Vice President at Neste in the field of renewable polymers and chemicals, and he holds a PhD in physical chemistry. And I would also like to give a short introduction on the company itself. Neste focuses on creating solutions for combating climate change and accelerating a shift to a circular economy. They refine waste, residues, and innovative raw materials into renewable fuels and sustainable feedstock for plastic and other materials. And Neste is the world leading producer of renewable diesel and sustainable aviation fuel, developing also chemical recycling to combat the plastic waste challenge. So Lars, as an oil refinery company, what was your motivation to invest in renewable carbon?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's actually Neste made that decision already quite some time ago, and has actually always been a very active research and development company and has been doing a lot of innovation work. And well, in the late 90s, developed the so-called NextBTL process. And then in the early 2000s, made the very brave decision to say, well, there's something coming up. We foresee that the fuels will be important and will be probably the first thing that will be regulated. And then really made the big step to invest into world-scale plants in Finland, Rotterdam, and Singapore to go into the advanced biofuels world. And there with the leading technology became the leader in that. But it was really a mixture of foreseeing the right things and being brave, I would say. And now basically we try to repeat that, and we hope that we're on the right track in the chemicals and polymers field. Because here again we see that, I mean, we saw that already some years ago, and now I think it's super obvious that simply there's a big demand for renewable carbon and kind of getting away from fossil sources for chemistry, just like it was 20 years ago. Fossil sources for fuels were in question.
Okay, thank you. And do you see any preferences within the company from the three mentioned feedstocks related to renewable carbon, so biomass or recycling?
Well, naturally, Neste is the largest producer of this advanced biofuels, or you could say hydrogenated vegetable oils. And there we have a capacity of currently 3 million tons, which will soon be 4.5 million tons due to our Singapore extension. And we have just announced also that we're going to extend further in Europe. So then you can kind of easy to think about that it will be in the direction of 6 million tons or so. So that means naturally we have a huge focus on that. However, we've also laid out our pitch that we are working in chemical recycling because we understood it's very necessary to close loops and to make that carbon also circulate from plastics. And there we say we're going to move 1 million ton of chemical recycled waste plastic by 2030. So that's also a substantial number.
Yeah.
On the power to X side, this is even early in the technology development. So hard to say where that will end up, but clearly we want to investigate that. So I think we are relatively agnostic to that because we believe that whatever we do will be sustainable, but there's simply a difference in the technology development. Whilst in the bio-based world, we have a really extremely well established and developed technology in the chemical recycling. There's still a lot of things to do. And Power to X is an open field yet, although there's also already technologies on the horizon which can be very interesting.
Yeah, okay. As I said in the beginning, that you are known for innovative fuel solutions. I would like to know how is the demand for renewable naphtha, and who are your customers?
So on the fuel side, just to mention that is a very regulatory driven business. So there's a lot of that goes into Europe, but also goes in the US, where you have really schemes which are supporting the replacement of fossil fuels by renewable fuels. And in the chemical world, that is not the case yet. So there is not really a regulation which is supportive. So the whole demand is very much driven by downstream customers, by retailers, by brand owners who see simply that they need that to guarantee that they have a license to operate later. So often there's companies like, I don't know, IKEA's or the Unilevers or the Henkels and so on, which are saying, we will change our portfolio, we will change away from fossil, and that is driving the demand for us. So the demand is ever increasing. And it's to a certain degree, to be very honest, there's also, of course, a competition with the fuel side. Who gets these valuable, sustainable molecules, so to say. The demand is rising and hard to quantify, but very steep growth, we can say.
Okay, many thanks. And yeah, I'm already at my last question. So what are Neste's goals in the Renewable Carbon Initiative, and what do you hope to achieve within the initiative?
Well, I can say this concept is really exactly what what we all have been waiting for, I think. Why? Because, as mentioned already, even we as one company are working on the bio-based side of renewability. We are working on the chemical recycling circularity part of it. We talk about the power to X and we work on the power to X. So just us, we are working on all these different carbon sources. So Renewable Carbon Initiative is exactly what we are waiting for in that sense, that it really combines all of those. And it puts a focus on what is necessary, because the primary topic we have today is climate change, very clearly. Climate change is caused by additional fossil which is taken from the ground to serve either in the energy or in the material sector. And this can simply not continue. We need to change that, and communicating that in the right way. And the comparison renewable energy to renewable carbon is exactly what we need, and that is also what we want to get from the initiative. Meaning we want to help to establish this term because it will make it easier to communicate with stakeholders, meaning with customers, but also with governments, so that they know what is necessary to do. And that's basically what we are up for with the Renewable Carbon Initiative, which we are very happy to be a founding member of.
Yes, thank you very much. And indeed, it looks that your goals fit very well with the initiative goals. And yeah, thanks again for this very nice and informative talk. And of course, I would also like to thank our viewers out there for joining us today. And dear viewers, if you are now interested in Neste's activities, the Renewable Carbon Initiative, or our other members, please note the web address in the final credits of this video. And thanks again, and I hope we can see us next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.